Yeah.
When Mario Cristobal surprisingly left Oregon for Miami, it left the Ducks searching for their fifth head coach in the last 12 years. Oregon has not held a coach for longer than 4 years since Mike Belloti was the head coach from 1995 to 2008. They're hoping their luck will change with the hiring of Dan Lanning. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to break down Oregon's hire of Dan Lanning. Who is he? How will he do in Eugene? We're here to break all of that down for you today. But before we do, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. Guys, hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you don't miss any of our content going forward helps us out tremendously. So please continue to do that so we can continue to bring you nonstop college football content year round. So the $1 million question, guys, is who is Dan Lanning? You know, for the average college football fan, this is not necessarily the biggest name hire out there. But Dan Lanning is one of the best, youngest head coaches in the game right now. Dan Lanning is only 35 years old, yet he has now taken over a very historic Oregon program, an Oregon program that expects to contend not just for Pac-12 titles, but looks to contend for college football playoff spots, looks to contend for national championships. Lanning was most recently the outside linebackers and defensive coordinator coach at Georgia from 2018 to 2021. Yes, the same Georgia that just won the national championship. In 2018, the Bulldogs had the 15th ranked defense under Lanning. 2019, they had the top ranked defense. 2020, they had the 17th ranked defense. And just as last year, 2021, Georgia had the number one defense in the country under Dan Lanning, a defense that allowed just 10.2 points per game, defense that, yes, led them to the national championship, a defense that allowed over 20 points just once in the entire year. That was when they allowed 41 points to Alabama in the SEC championship game, but they got their revenge in the national championship game, holding the Crimson Tide to just 18. So Lanning, guys, yes, he might be 35, and some people frown upon the young head coaches, especially when they take over big-time programs, Power 5 programs like Oregon. But to me, this is a very, very solid hire, especially when you look at the entire body of work, not just what he's done at Georgia, even though that's the main body, but what he's done in previous position coaching jobs as well. When we take a look at Oregon's outlook going into 2022, I think a lot of the spotlight has been stolen in the Pac-12 by Lincoln Riley and USC. That was probably the biggest hire of this entire offseason. A lot of people are forgetting that Oregon had won 2 of the last 3 Pac-12 championships. They had made 3 straight Pac-12 championships under Mario Cristobal, and multiple times under Mario Cristobal were in contention for a college football playoff spot before losing late in the year. So Oregon, guys, they're not going anywhere. Let's make that very clear right now. The Ducks are not going anywhere, and their outlook for 2022, while many people may not be talking about them, is still very bright. You look at the staff that Dan Lanning has put together. First off, he hired Kenny Dillingham from Florida State. He is the offensive coordinator for the Ducks now. And these two guys, Lanning and Dillingham, were on the Memphis staff back in 2016 and 2017. Both served on that staff together. So they already have a relationship, and Dillingham has done a very good job with the Seminoles. While their record may not show it, the offense did improve in 2020 and 2021 under Kenny Dillingham as offensive coordinator. So a solid hire there. One hire that I really like a lot from Dan Lanning is the fact that he brings in Adrian Clem as the associate head coach and the offensive line coach from the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Clem, when he worked with that offensive line with the Steelers, worked with an offensive line that in 2020 allowed just 14 sacks all year long. That was the fewest in the NFL since 1982. The fewest sacks allowed by a franchise in the NFL since 1982. Adrian Clem, a major reason for that. And guys, Mario Cristobal was such a great coach for Oregon, and Alex Mirabal was such a great offensive line coach for Oregon. I think Dan Lanning recognized that and wanted to make sure he's bringing in a guy that would continue to have that success up front, would continue to win in the trenches. Adrian Clem is that guy. You have Tosh Lapoy coming in as defensive coordinator. He was the defensive line coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. The year before that, the Atlanta Falcons. The year before that, Cleveland Browns. The year before that, in 2018, he was the defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban. So a very solid hire on defense. And let's not forget that outside of the coaching staff, Oregon has landed Bo Nix, transfer quarterback from Auburn, and their defense will be anchored by star linebacker Noah Sewell. So this is a team, guys, that, while many may not be talking about the Ducks, you should be. You should be talking about Oregon. You should be talking about the staff that Dan Lanning has been putting together. You should be talking about Dan Lanning in and of himself because of the great defensive mind that he is, the fact that he's so young, so passionate, and it seems that these Oregon players already are very anxious to get going and playing under him. And then obviously the talent that Oregon not only returns, but brings in, especially on the offensive side of the ball, an offense that was pedestrian at times last year, never really seemed to find their groove under Anthony Brown. They have a chance now to find that with Bo Nix, bringing in a veteran quarterback from another Power 5 conference in the SEC. You look at the schedule, though, guys. It's absolutely brutal for a first-year head coach. It's absolutely brutal for an Oregon team that wants to remain in the national conversation, that wants to remain in that playoff conversation. Dan Lanning opens up his career at Oregon against his former team. Oregon will begin the season in Atlanta against the reigning national champions in Georgia. So we will have a top 25, potential top 15 matchup in Atlanta between Georgia and Oregon. Dan Lanning facing off against his former team that he helped win the national championship just last year. So that's obviously going to be a major storyline, and already is one of the biggest matchups, not just of week 1, but maybe of the entire season. But in week 3, Oregon hosts BYU, a BYU team that is typically a top 25 team, and we expect to be so again in 2022. Not an easy task at all. You get into Pac-12 conference play. Oregon is lucky to host UCLA and Utah. Utah had the Ducks number last year, defeating them in Salt Lake City, blowout fashion, and then again in the Pac-12 championship in blowout fashion. But getting to host the Utes in Eugene is huge. The Ducks also avoid USC from the Pac-12 South, so that is huge as well. This is the Pac-12 conference, guys, that is continuously improving and improving drastically. USC will soon take off under Lincoln Riley. Oregon will remain major contenders. Utah really made a bigger name for themselves than they have in the past last year with that phenomenal Rose Bowl appearance and performance, winning the Pac-12. UCLA getting there under Chip Kelly. The Pac-12 is rising, is getting more competitive. For years we have said it's one of the more weaker conferences in the country. By the end of 2022, definitely by 2023, I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. So it's improving, and therefore Oregon has to continue to grow and improve with it. So what do we give this hire? What do we give the hire of Dan Lanning at Oregon? Again, a 35-year-old coach will be turning 36 in April. A guy who's one of the better defensive minds already in the game and looks to bring that defensive success that he had at Georgia all the way out west to Eugene, Oregon, playing some defense in the Pac-12, but sometimes is kind of an afterthought, and looking to get the Ducks back to the college football playoff for the first time since the playoff began all the way back in 2014. This, for me, is a solid B hire. And this is the first coach that we've discussed that does not fall anywhere in the A category. We're not giving this hire an A. And here's the thing, this is not a bad hire by any means. I love this hire by Oregon. Excellent defensive mind. He's young. The players want to play for him. Solid recruiter as well. But the Pac-12, as we just mentioned, is improving. And now you're taking in a first-year head coach, first head coaching experience ever, to compete against a guy like Lincoln Riley, a guy in Kyle Whittingham, a guy in Chip Kelly, and many others just within the conference. Expect him to contend immediately. Not to say that he cannot. You also look at the coaching staff. While very solid, no coach on there has previous head coaching experiences. And while I do like some of the hires, such as Lapoy and Clem, that have NFL experience, that's going to be huge just for the coaching staff, not just from a veteran leadership standpoint, but also for a recruiting standpoint. There's no one there that Dan Lanning will be able to bounce ideas off of that had been in a head coaching experience before. And to me, that's a slight concern. I like this hire a lot. But if you're an Oregon fan, when you deal with a brand new head coach like this, and when you look at the schedule that they've been handed in 2022, it may take time for this hire to pay off. You may not see the results immediately in 2022. I don't think the results will come immediately in 2022, but I think they very well could be there in 23 or 24. Lanning, to me, is the right man for the job. He is an excellent hire. We're giving it a solid B. but it's going to take a little bit of time for the ball to really get rolling in Eugene and to have the Ducks as legitimate playoff and national title contenders. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. Of course, check out everything down in the description below. We are going to continue our coaching series over the next few weeks, so make sure to stay tuned for all of that. You do not want to miss any of the content we have coming your way, not just now, but for the rest of the year. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and you can do that by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.